You're watching our coverage of the general elections. Phase 5 today, 51 seats, 7 states. And we are actually in the final stretches now. You have the next phase coming up this Sunday where Delhi and Haryana will be voting. And then the final phase on the 19th, that's the following Sunday where you will finally see this election come to an end and some exit polls come out as well. Now, 51 seats, as we said today, many of these, most of these actually are the strongholds of the BJP. So the BJP really looking to defend this tally in this particular round and in the next two rounds as well, where it has been very, very strong in 2014. Among the states also voting today include a few more seats in Bengal, which is voting in every phase in this election. Also, more seats in Madhya Pradesh. My colleagues Monideepa Banerjee from Barakpur and Anurag Dwari joining us from Bhopal this morning. And Moni, to you first, you know, Bengal actually, as I was asking Rika as well earlier, the concern has been just the levels of violence that we're also seeing, the accusations of how the state machinery is being misused, the strong arm tactics allegedly being used by the Trinamool Congress, etc. Is it you know, relatively quieter there today?
Well, I'm in the Barakpur constituency, which is supposed to be a really tough fight, including some violence is expected to be thrown in. Barakpur particularly has this reputation, and Mr. Arjun Singh, who is the BJP candidate, he has made this rather infamous comment that in every election I use a new kind of operation, and that has created quite a stir. So what is this operation Arjun Singh is going to deploy in Barakpur, this time against his former associate, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi? One of the things that has happened in the last 24 hours is that there was a complaint that Mr. Arjun Singh may actually use, camouflage uniforms for some of his supporters to create a confusion about who is actually central force and who is not. So there has been a change in the people assigned to protect Mr. Arjun Singh. But that is really the nitty-gritty. Nidhi, let me just show you what's happening over here. I'm at a place called Martpara, and the queues here are simply enormous. People turning up early in the day to cast their vote. Men on this side, more men on this side, and then there are the women voters to my right. If the camera could just pan, a long line of women voters as well, waiting patiently to cast their vote. Security, we have SSB deployed over here. There are some senior voters with umbrellas. Shakal shakal beriye eshen vote dite. কেন এত সকালে কেন?
সকাল ভোটটা দেয়া হয়ে গেল নিশ্চিন্ত যে ভোটটা দেয়া হয়ে গেল।
এই যে নিশ্চিন্ত কথাটা বললেন, এটা কিন্তু কেন বললেন?
আবার কখন আসবো, কখন কি হবে, গন্ডগোল হতে পারে, না হতে পারে, কি হবে না হবে, সকাল সকাল দিয়ে গেলে নিশ্চিন্ত।
There you are. Nischinto is the key term. I mean, let's just get it done with the voting so that we can stop worrying about what might happen later in the day. He said there could be that good old gandagol, and there is a tension in the air, not only in Barakpur but in the other seats as well, Nidhi. Just as, the 51 seats going to the polls today is vital for the BJP. Of those 51 seats, the 7 seats going to the polls today in Bengal in this phase are vital for the Trinamool Congress. They are all Trinamool seats, and Trinamool must retain them if they are to achieve that target Mamata Banerjee has set of 42 on 42. Now, interestingly, in 2016, of the 49 assembly seats in these 7 parliamentary seats, Trinamool had won in 45. So just 4 seats, assembly seats, had gone to the opposition. Therefore, that's crucial for the Trinamool to retain a stranglehold over all these 7 seats. But the BJP, I will tell you, is putting up a fight. We've had the Prime Minister come campaigning over here in Barakpur. We've had Mamata Banerjee hold a competitive poll campaign as well. Dinesh Trivedi is refusing to get into the nitty-gritties of Arjun Singh's threats of, managing the polls or allegedly those threats. But Arjun Singh, I believe, has cast his vote early this morning at 7 o'clock, and he is doing the rounds of this constituency, and there are reports coming in of little pockets of tension erupting wherever Arjun Singh is going. Of course, he's accompanied by a huge media contingent as well as a huge security contingent. The other complaint that is coming in already is EVM failures, apparently in many booths. So we are getting a regular update from the Trinamool Congress quarters saying EVMs are malfunctioning in many booths across this constituency.
All right. Well, Monideepa Banerjee, thanks very much. We'll be back with you shortly to see how things are going there and how they're playing out. And we have Alok Pandey from Amethi with us this morning before we go to Anurag. So, Alok, Amethi is being watched with keen interest. Is Smriti Irani giving Rahul Gandhi a tougher fight this time?
Well, it's difficult to say, morning Nidhi, but I'm at a smallish booth in the Amethi Lok Sabha seat, and you can see that what's good to see is that the lines of women at the moment outnumber those of men. And that is good to see because so many women are coming out and actually voting. The Smriti Irani question, again, it's an interesting one, though, of course, Raebareli and Amethi are the bastions of the Congress and they've been so for a long time. But in 2014, of course, Smriti Irani managed to reduce Rahul Gandhi's winning margin to just about 1 lakh votes. And this time around, she's led a high decibel campaign. She's been tweeting about stuff. Her tweets are being retweeted by other people. Some in the Congress and other opposition parties have alleged that most of the stuff that she's tweeting about is either untrue or false, etc., etc. So that's the campaign that she has led. Senior leaders of the BJP have come out to campaign for her here. Rahul Gandhi's campaign has been more assured despite the fact that he's taken a second seat, which is Wayanad, of course, in Kerala. And there are those who say that that could be a factor. But that hasn't prevented Mr. Gandhi from carrying out a similar campaign as he has done in the last some time. Not too many visits, but Priyanka Gandhi, his sister and the Congress's Eastern UP in charge, has come in here, held road shows, held corner meetings. Even Rahul was here in the last 2-3 days. So it's been an interesting campaign and it remains to be seen how that works, Nidhi. I think one more interesting thing that we need to speak about is how Mayawati, perhaps prodded down by the Prime Minister's criticism or allegation that the Samajwadi Party and the Congress were ganging up against her, she came out yesterday to actually not directly appeal, but at least say that she hoped that her cadre vote would shift to the Congress on Amethi, in Amethi and Raebareli, which is Sonia Gandhi's seat. And that was very significant because it was a change in strategy after months of Mayawati actually taking on the Congress and getting Akhilesh to also speak against the Congress in election rallies. So that's very interesting to see. One more thing that I briefly want to talk about is these reports that are coming in of EVMs not working, and it seems to be a concern because at least in Amethi, I've got a message from our stringers from at least 4 locations in Amethi and Raebareli where EVMs aren't working. In Lucknow, Nidhi, my mother went to her polling booth and she stood in a queue for 1.5 hours, and there were 2 EVM units that were replaced one after the other, and both are not working. So my mother actually told me कि यहाँ जो भी candidate है जिसको मैं वोट देने वाली थी वो मेरे ही वोट से हारेगा बस. So I've encouraged her to go back again in the afternoon with an umbrella perhaps and cast her vote. But anyway, just to say that the Election Commission perhaps should be taking note of these EVM malfunction reports that are coming in and act on them sooner.